Hello, everyone. I am Shayla. I am a student of acupuncture and holistic healing, and I happened to bump into Fernando at Zen's Tea House, and I had a few questions for him.
The conversation began about traditional Chinese medicine. You went to China?
Yes, I did.
Started studying healing?
Yes, I did.
And then we started talking about trauma.
Trauma, yes.
And what's the advice I gave you? Seek first to be healed and then start healing others. And that's the premise to this video. You had a number of questions, right, Shayla?
Yes, I did.
I just threw a wrench at you.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And one of the ways in traditional Chinese medicine, you would have their hand out, you look at their ear, look at their eyes, their tongues, all of that, and you see their meridians, you see their energy. You can even do so by just looking at their palms or their tongue. I'm not going to ask you to open up your tongue, open up your mouth. When it comes to natural healing, you have to understand that if you have your own trauma, your own drama, your own unhealed wounds, then that's going to negatively impact your ability to heal others. You might be a great healer yourself, but if you're still carrying those wounds, you can only go so far. You can only go so deep with someone. And that's why people who become therapists, they've often gone through several years of therapy, and people who are herbal healers, some of them have had their own run-ins with negative pharmaceutical healing, and others, they've just grown up, myself included, just on natural teas, herbs, and holistic health. So Shayla, what were some of the questions that you had for me? No, I'll hold it.
These are the questions.
Loud and proud.
If there are any herbs that don't work together, which herbs do not work together?
That's a really off the bat easy question. Not every food goes well with one another, and it really depends on the body. Shayla, I asked you if you wanted some spicy food. You're like, no, I like sweet food. And so we started drinking tea, and she had sweet food. Now, if you are a very high energy, maybe you'll like the spice. If you're like sweet and calm, maybe you like something a little more mild. But there is no universal tea, herb, or pill because there is no universal body. Shayla's energy is different from my energy, and it's very likely different from your energy. And depending on your age and your healing journey, each blend has to be customized for you and your path. Depending on how much meat you eat, or if you don't eat any meat at all, that will impact the type of teas and herbs. We have this on our Herbalism class, which you now have access to. I gave Shayla the access to the video because she's on her journey to being a credentialed herbalist. And I like herbalists. All right, the second question, Shayla. I'll hold it.
What are the basic herbs to learn first for holistic health?
The basic herbs that you want to use are the ones that grow in your backyard. So you're from Georgia.
Yes.
What herbs grow in Georgia?
Ooh, a lot. I want to say asparagus. There's peppers.
That's not a herb. It's a vegetable.
It sure is, isn't it? I want to say.
A true healer understands what grows in their backyard because a healer works off the land that they have. We're in Southern California. One of the Zen's tea specialists, she grows her own herbs. She's actually growing saffron. This is her second year. She got 10 little sweets of saffron, which saffron is really difficult. It's difficult to harvest. So when it begins with blending teas and herbs to start, you want to start with what's in your backyard. This is particularly important with the season because if you are using the herbs, the plants, the teas that are native to your land, grown in your backyard, you build up natural immunities, and the bugs that are in your backyard, pollen, the environment, they build up natural strengths against viruses that are common in that area. So if anyone says this is what you got to start with, no, take a step back. The holistic route is what's in your backyard. Question number 3.
What are the best brewing techniques to make the best teas?
The best brewing techniques is experience over and over and over again. When I started Zen's Tea House back in 2012, I began with brewing all the teas very light, then mild, then overbrewed. In fact, whenever I come up with a new brew, I always try it with different temperatures for different lengths, and this is how I blend the teas, because you need to understand that when you're making concoctions, tea blends for people and their health, guess what? They're going to brew it very likely incorrectly. And so when you're putting together blends, you want to make ones that are easy to make, kind of like Zen's Golden Milk Tea. That one, really easy to brew. It's a powder, difficult to brew, to mess up. Good question. These are all Shayla's questions, by the way.
What are the best herbal combinations to learn first?
Simplicity. The best herbal blends to begin with are the ones that are maybe 2-3 herbs together. Chamomile, peppermint. Those are safe herbs, and it's very easy to implement. You want to start learning how to play around with those herbs. Peppermint, chamomile, lavender. These are herbs that grow in your backyard, and it's very easy in virtually any environment. So you want to start with the basic ones that are easy to put together. When you go with traditional Chinese medicine, a lot of them have different names, and they might be easy to grow, but they're not native to the land. You don't want to start off with something too specialty. In fact, for the first decade, I didn't even really touch on traditional Chinese medicine because it's a whole different world.
It is. Okay. Which herbs best work together for women's health?
Herbs that help balance estrogen levels, sex drive, blood. Hibiscus helps with blood pressure, and there are herbs like red clover blossom, which is a diuretic, help with water weight. You have maca root, fenugreek, very commonly used. You have cooling agents for hot flashes. You have peppermint. These are some of the herbs that people use. It doesn't always have to be necessarily adapted aphrodisiac herbs. What's good for the woman is also predominantly good for the man. Although men have different, their body makeup is different. It's usually, you'll see, depending on their diet, how different herbs will affect women, and it's less to do with their sex drive and just more to do with their lifestyle.
I like that. Okay, lastly, which herbs best work together for mental health?
So we did a video series, Spilling the Tea on Mental Health, and we talked in depth about how mental health works. You have depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and there are a number of herbs that you can use, but you really got to look at them as supplements. If you are struggling with depression, being on your cell phone every day, looking at social media, it doesn't matter the herbs that you take, you will still struggle with that anxiety. If you're in a toxic relationship, we talked briefly about that. We didn't go that far. If you're in a toxic relationship, that will also negatively impact your mental health. Use teas and herbs to help calm your body and adjust. One of the best teas for mental health is ashwagandha. It's a great herb that you can blend with multiple teas. So just get your favorite tea, preferably Zen's Tea House, and add ashwagandha to it. And it will help your body, in theory, right? There's no universal pill, there's no universal herb, adjust to stress. It's an adaptogenic herb, so it helps your body adopt to the stress environments. Some people use it to work out. Now there are some more extreme mental health disorders. People with schizophrenia, St. John's wort has been used. There's really someone like that. You have to meet with a specialist. If you want, I'm not going to diagnose you, but really you want to work with an herbalist who's trained in mental health. And what you'll find is that, can I touch your shoulder? Mm-hmm. We've only known each other for what, an hour?
Yeah,
2 hours?
Yeah.
If you have shoulder pain right here, mm-hmm. I'm going to teach you how to use your back, your arm, your wrist to put less pressure on your shoulder. and you're going to build up all the muscles around your shoulder so that you can carry the weight and it won't affect your body or really your life in a negative way. If there's serious damage right here in your joints, all we could do is really work around the muscles. And if you look at mental health that way, think of it, you have trauma that's happened to you. There are certain things that trigger you. And so what we can do is we can start preparing ahead, creating a plan, a life worth living goal, putting yourself in certain areas like little exercises to where you can practice using other parts of your brain to help push back those mental health issues. It's so much more complicated than that, but I hope that analogy works. If you have some real trauma and your body's feeling it, you got to build around it and build up the muscles around so you can help navigate and live a healthier life. There's a book called The Body Keeps the Score, and it's a really good book. It's since had some recently bad reviews because it can look at honestly, I think it's probably more of the more progressive ideology of sexes and genders and the way different people carry the trauma. I would look past all that negative comments on it because historically speaking, it's been a very effective book in helping people navigate mental health issues. And typically, the more time-tested holistic health education is going, the better it is across the board. And that's true for teas and mental health.
Thank you so much, Fernando. That helped me a lot. I hope it helped you all as well. Thank you again.
She's on her on your holistic medical health journey.
Yes.
And you came in because you felt the energy call you in here.
Yes, and I'm glad I'm here.
And so I thought, you know what? I will answer these questions, put them up on YouTube, and if you found this helpful, let us know in the comments below. We're always creating more videos.
Yay! Bye-bye. Thank you.